So here we go, guys. We have a League of Empires 3rd Division game on our hands. It's between Persian, Douche United and Hope Valley Ultras over here. So there's a bit of an elo gap between the teams in terms of average elo. Dovahkiin here, he is 1466 last time I checked, so he's pretty much 200 elo higher above the second highest rated player. That could be an issue. He is playing the flank position here though, not that that matters too much on Lombardia. But let's see how it plays out for them. I mean, I didn't remember to ask whose home map this is, but this is the home map for either of the teams. They play one game each, picking home maps, and they're flaring like whose resources are these? These are my boars, blah blah blah. Because on Lombardia, your resources spawn so close to each other, it can be confusing sometimes. You start with a total of 8 cows each dose. That's a little bit of an extra food for the starting. And then the team wall potential is pretty darn easy between the wood lines here to secure the whole team because of the close spawns they actually have. So, alright, let's bring up the stats here. Everyone seems off to a decent start here. No significant idle time. So, before we dive into it, let's talk a little bit about the players and civs of choices here. As mentioned, PDU Dovahkiin here, highest rated of all the players here. Now, as per the rules of League of Empires, you're only allowed to use each civ 3 times. Same goes for home maps. And Dovahkiin here goes for a Byzantine flank to kick off the League of Empires for PDU here. Dovahkiin is 1466 1v1 and plays in the somewhat of the flank position here for his players. And then for his pocket, we have Aten here as the Huns. Solid pocket civilization. Aten is 1204 in 1v1 last time I checked, which was a few minutes ago. And yeah, will provide the mobility for the team here, whereas Byzantines have a somewhat mobility, lacking husbandry for cavalry speed, but they still have the potential for cavalry, or even going into cataphracts for against infantry, we'll see. But mainly it will be Huns providing the cavalry here, whether it be cavalry archers, masses, or knights into paladins later in the game. Finally, on their right hand side here, we have TBW. He is ranked 12-15 last time I checked in Volume 1, so also a solid player here. Plays as the Vietnamese on the right hand side, and will most definitely go archers. Does have the option for cavalry or elephants as well, should the need arise, but you'd mainly see Vietnamese going for archers, or the unique unit Rattan archers from the castle, which is an extra tanky archer unit with more armor overall. So let's go to the other team here, HVU, the underdog in this matchup in my opinion. Their average rating should be roughly 100 lower or so of the opposing team. Isn't necessarily a hinder though. To the right hand side here we have Spanish flank with Tuduland here. Tuduland is 1199 1v1 when I checked a few minutes ago. And with Spanish, you have great blacksmith options actually. You have all the blacksmiths with Spanish, and your technologies don't cost gold, so you could get into their upgrades more easily. Spanish could easily go cavalry here as well, but most likely to drop some castles for defensive or offensive purposes and go into the conquistadors in the Castle Age, which is a very strong ranged unit in the Castle Age, albeit countered by skirmishers, which Vietnamese have even in Imperial Skirmisher for the late game, accessible for the teammates. Now the pocket here for HVU is Indians. A bit of a surprising pick after the nerf. They are nerfed for the late game here, Indians. They still get Imperial Camel, but they are lacking the last armor upgrade for cavalry units. So that plate party armor is going to hurt a little bit, even though they've been provided with +1 pierce armor in Castle Age and another +1 pierce armor in the Imperial Age for their cavalry units, say scouts or rather hussars in Imperial Age and the camels. So more tanky against archers' fire, which is good as well because the main purpose of the cavalry units in team games is to stand in front of enemy archers and try to tank the arrow shots so your teammate can fire at the enemy archers. Finally, on the left hand side here for Hope Valley Ultras, we have the Puebler playing as the Mayans. Solid flank civ. Cheaper archers have access to Eagle Warriors, albeit no opportunity to go for cavalry at all unless you convert an enemy stable. So, but Mayans will certainly provide archers masses into Arbalest, have the potential to go into Eagle Warriors for raiding and anti-archer potential as well. So we'll see how the game progresses, what they go for here. And I'm a bit puzzled as to the walling they are doing here. Looks like we'll be having a team wall in the middle here as India's player is dropping the stables as well. But there's still the right-hand side to be walled here, and we see Atan already, the pocket of the opposing team already on the way to the feudal age. So there might still be openings for scouts, which is not necessarily the case of Lombardia in usual matches. On the left-hand side, though, we'll need a... Okay, it's very greedy walling here from that Publer. Mayan walls, they have a little bit of extra HP as well as it goes on, or the walls are cheaper, so you have an easier time walling. The Eagle Scout is here to provide help as well. The problem being with these extensive walls early on is that you'll have a long way to go for the villagers to quick wall behind, so in the event that enemy scouts or archers come forward and break the walls, they'll probably be able to break the walls before you can do anything about it in terms of quick walling when you extend this far this early on. But team walls soon in place for HVU here. Same in progress for PDU here. Goes for the extensive long walls here. Tries to cover a lot of ground, but Barrel Master already forward here with the scout could delay the barracks of Dovahkiin here. Finds an unloomed villager, even better. Dovahkiin still in the feudal age, no loom. Gets his barracks delayed. Great value, even though losing lots of HP on the scout here for Barrel Master. There will be more scouts to come though, because he's in the feudal age, already producing them. Let's have a look at the scouting of Dovahkiin here. Has this area scouted, so knows that this is the last section that needs to be walled. Has also furthest away, so that's the last place the scouts will go before entering, I guess. Right hand side seems to be full walled, so that's good news for Vietnamese here. Doesn't seem to be any gaps, and here comes the Hans stables as well. Is at 23 population now, reached feudal age slightly later than the Indians, as maybe is expected. But scouts are indeed in from Barrel Master here, and it's HVU dealing the first blow in this match. Loom is in for Dovahkiin, so it will take limited losses here, but that's still a lot of idle time cost, and villagers now committing heavily to stragglers are on the T's here. Probably missing wood for... I'm not even sure what Dovahkiin's plan is here. He has the food, has almost the gold needed to go up, but gets harassed here by enemy scouts, missing this piece of wall here. So a little bit of lacking of scouting for Dovahkiin here early on. We have a scouts fight on our hands. The Hans player with the advantage not needing houses, but being later to the feudal age as well means later to the scouts production. And between the pockets is Barrel Master with 6 military and Aten with 4. So that's a fight you can't necessarily take unless you have any upgrades advantage, which is not the case here. Dovahkiin going for super extensive walls here, very greedy, but will maybe be able to cover all the way to the edge here. That's a lot of commitment of 3 villagers committed to walling here. From the looks of it, both flanks here are thinking in fast castle terms, which could be punished now by the scouts forward of HVU here. But now the scouts numbers of Aten here are increasing, and should be able to defend this somewhat easily. Dovahkiin's initial scout helps out as well, and now the Aten scout are only chasing scouts, not really dealing any real damage here. I think they've done their homework here though, PDU. No, I mean HVU, because they are indeed hitting first and foremost the strongest player here, which is Dovahkiin. Now what's going on the other side? I see numbers increasing here in army for... I was sure I saw 10 military here somewhere. I may have seen wrong, but look at the double palisades playing it really turtle-like here, the HVU team. Makes sense on Lombardia to get these walls up, double palisades everywhere, setting up for fast castle for both flanks here, and Spanish heavily on stone, definitely suggesting castle conquistadors play here. Now, in terms of a castle drop, this is still open, so but you could even justify doing a forward castle on some of the resources on either side here, if you feel you're in a position to do so. Dovahkiin will be able to finish the walls here though, but looking at the actual walls here, there's still a gap here, which they will have to plug at some point. So it's a free territory for enemy units to enter as the opposing team's pocket is on the way to the castle age. So is Dovahkiin is going to be almost first here, but HVU to the land, going to drop the castle and get these Spanish conquistadors out any moment here. So I like the team walls of the HVU a lot better here. They're double palisading, really playing it safe everywhere here. Double palisades everywhere, won't let any mounted units of the enemies easily through. And finally, maybe Dovahkiin goes to plug this gap. They must have not have communicated this part well enough in terms of closing this gap, because it's still open. So whatever enemy units could move straight in there. That should be deadly for example, conquistadors here to be able to enter in an area like this and deal some ranged damage to the units here. I'm seeing a couple of ranges for Vietnamese here though. We should have an easy time getting into skirmishers against the Spanish conquistadors, if that's the case. At 10, it's finally forward. It's probably scouting the enemy for the first time around here now. Finds a bunch of walls. Actually, the only part that's not double palisaded yet, but that's going to be addressed any moment by the Puebler here. Looking strong for HVU here, aside from the villager count, which is admittedly higher for PDU here. 40 villagers for Atten. The pocket is setting up for a strong economy. Is in the feudal age still, yes, but on the way to the castle age with a very strong economy to back it. Lots of food, could extend it more to gold, and then could just flood knights into paladins later. Here, even the stone walls are coming. This is why I hate Lombardia myself. You just are so close to your enemies. You just team wall in and play it basically like your own little arena here. So certainly some thorough planning here by HVU for Lombardia. Maybe it's their home map after all. I don't know. As said, I'll have to ask them later what's the case here. Providing archers helps, of course, to try and break through. That denies quick walls, but the castle is up for the Mayans player. Might be wanting to go for bloomed archers here, because the stone investment is significant here for the Puebler. And the bloomed archers, not a bad idea at all. They are a quicker archer unit created from the castle from Mayans, easy to micro. You're just basically move and shoot, move and shoot, move and shoot. You could easily dodge even mangonel shot with those quick little bastards. So I'm trying to pay some attention to the villager counts here. I'm looking at military numbers as well. I mean, HVU walled and feeling on the safe side here, but if the enemies break through, they're at a really tough spot because they barely have any military at all. The Spanish player has some units still. Let's see what he's gone into here. Not conquistadors, not exclusively conquistadors anyway. I see 7 army, or is it? Yeah, maybe it's all the conquistadors. Going to try and challenge this little group here, but there are a few too many crossbows for to the land to take on this alone. And downhill as well. This is not a good fight for to the land, unfortunately. Can hit and run though, and dodge the crossbows, but if the crossbows of Dovahkiin break through here, they're still at a really tough spot. And wow, PDU are already placing markets in the corner to secure some trade routes, so they're setting up early for the trade here. Maybe Atten needed a market anyway, and just decided to place it there for convenience for trading later. This is a bit of a waste of conquistadors though, running into crossbows. They're completely circled here. That's unfortunately some bad losses for Tudeland here. Tudeland also missing a stable for upgrades on the conquistadors. I mean, if you have a stable, you need a stable when you're going for units like these, the mounted units, because you'd have access to husbandry and those things, something that the Spanish player hasn't gone into yet. You see, no husbandry or bloodlines. So they move slower and they have less HP. And then, yeah, then there's some archery range upgrades to go into as well. A little bit fletching or so that applies to conquistadors because they are classified as cav archers these days. Still, as long as the enemy doesn't break through on HVU's side here, they're at a good spot. Here comes another castle from the Mayans player, definitely committing to these plumed archers now. And plumed archers should be able to contest all the compositions of the enemy team so far, although I believe the crossbows have longer range, but they are less mobile, they're a bit slower. So we have a mix of Vietnamese and Byzantine's crossbow here, with more or less full upgrades. Vietnamese missing the armor, not a biggest deal for the range unit to go for the attack upgrade first anyway. But I'm worried about military numbers here, but only if PDU are able to break through somehow. And there are castles literally everywhere here. This is almost the only weak spot remaining here, and there's a TC and a castle to protect entry there as well. So I love the defensive play of HVU here. They are just not making it easy for the enemy team to deal any damage. And investing less into Arvik should also be able to reach the Imperial Age earlier for HVU here. House walls behind the palisades for Tovakin here as well, all the way. So same situation, one TC outside though, no biggie there, does protect this gold. The hill could be an issue though if the enemies bring some power castle, some siege, something on here, but that shouldn't be an issue considering the current army lead for PDU overall here. Looking at the resource tab as well, Barrel Master is actually pretty darn close to clicking Imperial here if he wants to. So let's see if that's really not really a lot of stables here to produce from. No military at all yet, actually. So I'm not sure if the plans of a fast imp here for Indians and go into the Imperial camels ASAP. I'm not sure. On 3 TCs, that seems decent for the economy approach, and I think the other players are on 3 TCs as well. Looks like 2 for the Spanish player, and let's see at Mayans here. A couple of markets up for the red player as well, and 3 TCs indeed. So Tudland is behind the villager merely due to the fact that castle is a stone investment and they prioritize the castle and conquistadors over a third TC. Plumed archer mass is increasing here for Dapevle. 78 villagers overall, and looks like villager counts could be somewhat similar to the land lagging furthest behind here, but not the biggest of a deal. Imperial Age on the way for the Indian player as assumed though, and starts camel production upon reaching Imperial Age. So I wouldn't mess around with that kind of power spike actually. It's going to Dapevler, the Mayans player also going Imperial Age here, so the minimal military investment from HVU here could pay off with this earlier Imperial Age. They will struggle a lot against enemy numbers here though, the Vietnamese notably with 40 archers here, but archers way less mobile than conquistadors and plumes and soon to be Indian camels. Conquistadors found a way in, probably around the TC, or maybe they just simply broke through somewhere. I'm not sure how they found their way in here actually, but maybe there's a hole. It's enough indeed to deal some damage here though. We see some upgrades are in as well. Defense, I'm gonna see if they have husbandry yet. The stable is up, so probably have husbandry and bloodlines as well. Mostly running around, not really dealing enough damage here though, and now there's something going on in the middle. Yeah, Camels taking a good fight here against some stray crossbows of Dovagin here. The Camels, no, sorry, the Knights of the Hunts Flare should deal with these remaining Conquistadors easily though. And the damage limited here, Aten still in the villager lead here, not really losing anything significant to the raids here. 2 players are in the Imperial Age for HVU though. Let's see how this plays out for them. They're placing the markets. Gonna go for the trade already. probably for the shorter route here down here for the time being, as the Spanish player drops another castle and wants to go for a third castle for defense, obviously, but also to go into the conquistadors here. Camels breaking in, taking a chance here, Barrel Master, by breaking in with camel riders only. No heavy camel, it's not in yet, and will be risking losing huge numbers here to enemy crossbows. This is a horrible fight for Barrel Master, has to bail immediately here. Pierce armor helps out, of course, Imperial Age extra pierce armor against the archers, but they are still only camel riders. 6+2 attack against 10+2 attack of the knights and extra defense as well. So I don't think the generic camels of Indians can take that fight until heavy camel kicks in, which is should be right around the corner, I guess. But here seems to be a bit of lacking team communication here. They're not really staying together. Indians player trying to charge alone here will likely have limited its success, but there's heavy cavalry is in at least, so we'll be getting some free kills here. It's 11 to 9 KD for the yellow player so far. Plumed archers against crossbows here. They have the speed, fortunately, so they can back off from bad fights, but here come the camels to join in, and this is where Top Pubbler and Barrel Master need to coordinate to try and take out as many of these crossbows as possible before Imperial Age can kick in an arbalest for Dovahkiin here. This is definitely a good fight for Battlemaster. Just a few archers here, and the Light Cavalry Knights here will melt like flies to heavy camels. But here come the archers of Dovahkiin, though, helping out. Battlemaster wisely takes the flees the fight, and is also has Imperial Camel on the way. Wow! So early Imperial Camel for the Indians player here. Early Wolof, early Imp, and that significant Imperial Age power spike. The opposing team, PDU, are on the way to reach Imperial Age as well. Some flaring on the north side here, some nice raids for A10 with a few stray scouts. Barrel Master takes the fight before Imperial Camel, but I think it's still a good fight with the current masses around here. Overall, military number seems slightly higher for PDU here, but not anything too alarming. And remember that Imperial Camel is on the way as well. Let's see the research, 92% here. Plumed Archer masses helping out as well, and a steady flow of war coming forward, and now expanding with the castle in the middle here for the mines. Could allow for some trebs or whatever siege is needed to keep pushing here. I think considering the masses of units here from the PDU team, the masses of ranged units, it would be a great choice for Mayans here or Spanish to provide some siege rams into the field to tank some archers' arrows. Nice sitting on the hill here from the plumed archers. Barrel Master will be losing numbers here though. Not really struggling for eco to sustain production of 160 villagers total, and keeps a steady flow of, or has been keeping a steady flow of camels coming at least. Looks like roughly all the upgrades are in. Let's have a look here at the attacks and defenses. Yep, all attack, all defense in for the camels. Castle on the hill, sorely needed here for Dovahkiin, and a couple of castles down here as well. Maybe PDU are contemplating their counter-attack here now. So they've been taking some losses though, but still have a decent chunk of army, lots of archers, roughly 90 archers total here. They are all arbalists, just missing bracer here for the Vietnamese and some armor upgrades, and they should be good to go. Overall populations seem roughly similar as well, maybe slightly higher for HVU here. Are we going to see Imperial Camels take down a whole castle here? That would be pretty epic. No murder holes, obviously, for TBW here, and Camels with that bonus against building. It has been nerfed, I believe. Where is it? +4 attack versus buildings. I think it has been nerfed, but look at this castle still going down just like paperwork here. Battlemaster's issue here, though, is not close to his teammate here. No way that HVU should take this fight on their own. They're also seeing this castle on the hill. The Pubbler needs to back up immediately, which he does. One castle taken out by Imperial Camels only, though. And will this be spotted? This castle going up. Oh! Battlemaster, please react. Please stop this. No. Alright, so did miss that one, unfortunately. We'll go in for the raids, and here are some conquistadors as well. The Imperial Camels should deal with these, no problem. It's mainly light cav here for Huns, which is a peculiar choice. It does conserve gold though, but Aten, where are your paladins? Where are your cavalier? They are over here. And sticking to cavalier for now, that shouldn't be any problem for the Imperial Camels to deal with. Now going for the raids here. This could be huge for HVU here if they get some raids in here with Conquistadors. Just break the walls, and might even be an easy opening here. So it's definitely HVU on the offensive here. Great teamwork, staying together here. Plumed archers trying to work wonders on their own here, staying close to the Trebs and taking out ARBs here. But we are with 65 HP units against 40 HP units, so more HP on the Plume Archers. In return, one less attack and, well, same range. Looks like they have more defense as well, so you don't mess around with Plumed Archers like this. Villager count is lowest for all by TBW, so it's been subject to some serious raids here. I believe might risk losing Arbalest masses here as well. Conquistadors hitting the Arbalests here that are being totally circled by Imperial Camels. And look at the production tab from Barrel Master 3000 here, supplying so many Imperial Camels to the fights here. That's Indians' power in team games for sure. I'm very puzzled as to why Alten goes for so many light cav in the mix though. Must be some way to make use of this food eco, but now with 49 on gold as well, that's the trade kicking in. Should be getting to Paladin ASAP, but here goes another castle for the Byzantines as well. Byzantine castle with 6,720 HP here goes down to Trebs, Plumes, and Imperial Camels. HVU shows some serious teamwork skills here, and we'll be able to take this hill again. We'll now have the Trebs on top, defended by lots of units. Light Cav and Cavalier, no match for Imperial Camels here for sure. And steady flow of Imperial Camels from Barrel Master here. They have trade going, obviously. So whoever gets to the opponent's trade line first will be in a good spot here. Population seems healthy for both teams still, and they're certainly supplying military overall here. But I think the mobility of HVU's composition here really pays off. Here comes another castle to facilitate Plumed Archers production. They will have a shorter moving distance, and let's see, that's Huns light cav, so Plumed Archers would deal with those easily as well. Now Barrelmaster and Tudlan are going to meet up here again. Those are still Conquistadors now, not going into Elite Conquistador, but look at the research here for the Spanish player. It's going to go into Paladin, and we'll have Paladins before the Huns player can. Barrelmaster completely pop-capped, 44 Imperial Camels total, and the Puebler as well with 58 Plumed Archers. A pretty serious mass of units here to be dealt with. And with the mobility, you don't get an easy Onager or Siege Onager shot in on these guys either, because they have such an easy time splitting and dodging these shots. Finally, Paladin is in for the Huns though. Let's see, the Huns military number 45. To the land, a little bit behind in numbers, but will be supplying Paladins soon enough as well, just taking into the switch. I like that switch. You'll have both Paladins and Imperial Camels fully upgraded. Spanish have a full tech tree, and I think this is going to be a great fight for HVU yet again here. So the PDU are thinking about extending that trade route, I believe. Stone walls going up here. Same is the case for the other team in the north here with stone walls. But before the stone walls can go up to the land, we'll run in here and raid again, and probably looking for a trade route to raid here. There's a pause, they may be having lag issues or something here. So let's see what happens. Fantastic display by HVU here. Okay, granted, PDU only has a real strong player, which is higher elo both in Dovahkiin, and he can't carry the game on his own. But overall, it's Dovahkiin, TBW, and Aten. Their average elo is slightly above 1300 in 1v1, whereas HVU, as per 1v1 ratings, are, let's see, Tudlan, 1100, Doppler, And Barrel Master is an incredible 1065 1v1, and he's playing like a champ here with this constant supply of Imperial Camels here. Let's look into the research tab here. It's Paladin, 28% on the way for to the land here, finally making that Paladin switch, and has 6 or 7 stables at least to supply them from. Is with some very exposed economy here though, that's subject to raids should it happen. But looking at the other side here, it looks like a great push from Barrel Master and Dappabler over here. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a Civ win, because they're all solid Civs on both teams here. Hans Pocket is amazing as well. Byzantines would have camels, heavy camels if needed, but still wouldn't stand a chance against Imperial camels though. See if there are any forging on the way. So getting the attack upgrades for the paladins as well. Let's see the Hans paladins here. They have +2, and then there's this. There's one advantage having Hans on the team that the other team doesn't though, because if you have Hans, their team bonus is stables work 20% faster. So even if both players go paladins, Hans will be able to resupply the numbers more easily. And looking at this setup, as long as the trade stays alive, Atan here will not have any issues whatsoever. Keep sending those paladins out. There is an issue of map control here though, because looking at the woodlines here, there's one here, there's one here, a little one here, and this one is run out, something Atan will need to address. And then there's just a little bit here, so what's their name again? PDU will be forced to extend, like they've done here, to have further wood access. And with the trade route in danger of being raided by conquistadors here, it could be looking tough for PDU here actually. I really hope they unpause soon though, because otherwise I won't be able to spectate the rest of the game. Right, so we're still at the pause here. It tends to bug out with spectating if the pause is going on for too long, so I risk not seeing the end of this game, unfortunately. We are 48 minutes in, so worst case we could, I'd say we could fast forward, but actually we can't do that either, because if they pause for too long, the game gets stuck in spectating and you won't be able to see the rest. Not too much to do about that, but let's just hope they'll unpause soon, and if it goes for just a few more minutes, I guess I will have to wait for game 2 and ask them politely who actually won this game in the end. If I'm going to theorize here, HVU being the lower rated team, they may have been given the option to play their home map first, and from the looks of the way HVU are playing this, they have a really good plan for Lombardia here, and could be that they actually mean to keep this as their home map. But that's just speculating for me at this rate. I can try to get an update on that later on. I'm communicating with one of the team captains right now. Alright, I'm sorry we didn't get to see the end of this, but I have received reports that it was indeed HVU winning this map. So we're gonna put a 1-0 for them here. Pity not to see the end of this game, but we all saw where it was going, I guess. And it's going to be a 1-0 in this 2-game set between these players, or these teams. So let's have a look at the stats. And then hopefully we'll dive into the next one. And I've received intel that it was PDU's home map. So very nice job here from HVU to take the home map of Persian Douche United. So good, GG, well played to HVU. We didn't get to see the rest of it because of the pause, but that's just a thanks DE thing to consider. Great KD overall here. Fantastic pocket play by the Indians player. Surely a very good team player. Full count, not surprisingly, pretty high. And then let's see the trade profit kicked in. Actually, hadn't kicked in at all the trade for PDU, so that's a huge issue as well. A bit too late to the trade there in terms of constant paladin production. 157 villagers, cheap Indian villagers there, really giving them a good boom. And then the timeline in the end here.